When it comes to sewing buttons on, the Bernina 790 makes it way too easy. Now here is just a quick little example of how fun buttons can be. They can add a fun touch to so many things. This is one of the blocks from our Bernina Stitching Cosmos online course. If you want to learn everything about this machine, from 25 different sewing techniques to 18 different presser feet, you gotta check it out. There's links below this YouTube video. You can watch like 10 videos for free and see what it's all about. We use the circular sewing attachment over here, and we even did our own paper piecing, made up our own patterns. Yes, it's that easy. And I even added buttons to this little fun block also. But I want to talk about which stitch you use, what foot is best, and then also how wide do you make the stitches based on how big the button actually is. The button sew on feature is found in the buttonhole menu. Arrow to the next page and you'll find stitch number 60 looks just like a button with stitches that go left to right. So if you are picking up a button, you know, there's different big and small, but did you know that 99% of the buttons actually have the same width of holes? See how I aligned that small one on top of the big one, and you can see right through. So the number at the stitch width of 4 millimeters wide, that is a nice default setting. You can make it bigger if you have one of those odd size buttons that just has some bigger holes. There are some that even have smaller. But trust me, this will get you into the ballpark. Now, which foot does it recommend? There is a foot number 18. This is an optional foot. It is the button sew-on foot. Great option here. But it also allows me to use foot 1C as a choice, or, and I'm going to show you, an open toe foot number 20 if your button is big enough. Next, we need to lower the feed dogs of the machine. Make sure you push all the way in so it stays indented. See how that did not stay indented? I didn't push it far enough. So push hard until you see that little box stay open here. When those feed dogs are meant to come back up, push that all the way in until it pops out. All right, so now they're down, and that's so the button doesn't get moved through the machine or get kind of bounced out from underneath where the needles are stitching through those holes. So I said you can use a foot 1C, which is actually recommended. It's just a little hard to see where you're lining up, so I am going to actually show it to you using the foot 20C, and you'll be able to see that the eyes and the needle come and meet each other without breaking the needle. You can see that the needle starts on the left side. So make sure that your first stitch lands into a hole on the left. Now I did choose to do, being that this is 4 holes, the front pair of holes first. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my presser foot, but then I'm going to maybe turn the hand wheel. I'm touching the needle up down button until I get that swing. Now this is where I'm going to slowly lower it down and make sure it goes into the hole. Go ahead and stitch back and forth until it finishes. Notice there's some locking stitches in between each of the zigzags, and if you choose to, you could even just stitch it again for a little extra reinforcement. If you're cutting your thread here, you can use that thread cutter. I'm going to just lift the presser foot and even just slide back, bring that needle down into the hole so I know I'm good. I'm going to set that foot down using that hand stepping of that needle until I can see that it's going to go into that next hole. And again, if I want to stitch it for a nice heavier look, that is awesome. All right, I'm going to use the thread cutter this time. It'll cut the thread, and voila. Now if you never want to have to sew buttons back on ever again, take a little fray check and drop it on the threads. It'll kind of glue the threads together. It usually dries clear, test that, but it's a great way to kind of seal these threads together so they never come out. So check out our Bernina Stitching Cosmos online course, plus those 10 free videos. You are going to fall in love with your Bernina 790 sewing machine even more than you ever dreamed.